Okay, if you're at our camp right now, you have received an email about our college recruiting service. Whether it's for you or not remains to be seen, but here's a few things that I wanted to mention just to go over some frequently asked questions and so forth. We've been doing this since 2002. I did a hardcore for about 5 or 6 years, got way too busy with just my job and work and camps and academy, and I just kind of helped our athletes a little bit and kind of dumped it. So Trevor, who helps with our camp coordination, handles a lot of our office things as well. We rebuilt the program and made it much better and streamlined it and have an online, a format on our website where athletes have their bio, their picture, all of their contact information, their coaches' contact information is there, links to videos and matches and things. So it's kind of like just flipping through a catalog and shopping for kids, right? So that's what we have. So there's, I think it's NCSA, and there's other college recruiting places, and it's like $4,000, $3,500, and you get your name on a website. And there's thousands of volleyball girls, and then there's baseball players and stuff. What we do is much more personal. It's wrestling only. We're wrestling guys. We know every wrestling coach in America. We buy a database of every college wrestling coach in America. NCAA, NAIA, Division 1, 2, and 3. And so we're in contact with them every 21 days. We have averaged, just in the past 3 years since 2019, $62,500 for our athletes. And understand this, even if your child, we help them to get a spot as a walk-on, which nowadays is kind of, it's kind of like being recruited because they have a roster limits. Due to Title IX, we have roster limits. A high school or a college wrestling team is not going to just take random walk-ons. You have to be someone they think can earn a scholarship down the road. So there's the walk-ons, it's not like it used to be back in my day or even just 10 years ago. They can only have 37 guys on the mat, period. And every college gets 9.9 scholarships max. Now NAIA, which is not NCAA, but it's exploding. It's kind of private school. They can have as many scholarships as they want. So a lot of times that's where the money's at. So we've had kids in my academy too, they could have gotten a 10% scholarship to, the University of Minnesota or University of Missouri, but they turned that down because they got a full ride to an NAIA program. Or maybe they got a 70% scholarship to a Division II school as well. We have a handful of those in the state of Missouri. Only one Division I school, Lindenwood, will be Division I in Missouri here in a few years, but at this point in time we just have one. So when you start navigating everything, you understand that sometimes when I step down to NAI, there's a lot more money. But in general, NCAA wrestling, junior college, Division I and Division II, they have at most 9.9 scholarships for their entire team. Some Division I schools aren't even fully funded. They may only have 7 scholarships, 6 scholarships for their whole team. Now, NCAA Division III, they don't give scholarships, right? But there's other ways to get help with tuition and so forth. And we navigate all that for you as well. So, in total, we have averaged $62,500. Even if you're a walk-on, and generally most colleges, many of them, you get meals. If you're an athlete, it was like $7,000 a year. So, our program really is an investment because you kind of just gonna make it all back, right? Plus options. So let's say you're a very good wrestler. You've placed in state a couple times, and let's say you're in, let's just say you're in Missouri, since that's where we're stationed. And the local, Central Missouri State University Division II school is contacting your wrestler. And you're like, I'm going there. I'm jumping on it. It's very exciting being a college wrestler, and I don't blame you. But just imagine if you had 11 other schools after you and you let them know that, hey, I'm visiting so-and-so, I'm visiting so-and-so. I got some unofficial visits here. My official visits are in these locations. And now that college is like, whoa, there's other guys after this guy. I need to make sure that, we really want him. We're going to have to dig a little deeper in our pockets because there's some competition here. That's always a good thing. Plus, you get choices. So if you just jump on the local school, because it's very exciting to have that opportunity, it may not be a good fit. What's the dropout rate in college wrestling? It's got to be enormous. And I think usually it's because kids just, they jump on the only option they have. Your son or daughter may not get a college degree because they're miserable. They don't like the town. It's just not fitting. There's no connection with the coaches, whatever. There's a whole host of reasons. And now they're not even wrestling. They're not even doing college. So by having a lot of choices, the colleges can kind of start fighting over you a little bit. Plus, you can really sit back and do some visits. You can take 5 official visits, as many unofficials as you want. You can visit 8 campuses and with your kids, and you can say, we have a lot of options here, thanks to Nick and Trevor. And we're going to really narrow this down to our top 2 or 3 within the next 5 weeks. And then we're going to know where we're at, come November, start of our senior year. We're going to have all this done. That's the choices and extra options are, I can't say enough about how important that is. And most people don't do that. So anyway, so like I said, we're wrestling only. We've established in 2002. We have $4.5+ million in scholarships earned by our athletes so far. You can see PurlerWrestling.com, our college recruiting center. Check that out. There's a bio there where they can have their pictures, everything that they need. And if you're at our camp, Trevor's doing because it's, kind of like while you're here, we get to know the kids. We can take their videos for them and help upload those and help build their resume. It's an online resume. And basically what we do is we bring the buyer and seller together. We're just marketing the kids. That's all we're doing. And every time there's an update for the program, let's say that your wrestler goes from a 19 to a 21 on their ACT, and you let us know that, and you update your bio on the website that you have complete access to, and you say, hey, these are the 4 schools we've been chatting with pretty seriously. Boom, guess what? Trevor texts those coaches, he emails them, and they go, whoa, went from a 19 to a 21. That's $8,000 a year now we can get for that wrestler. Ring, ring, ring. They call you up. And so, it's just kind of one of those things where, in business, there's a phrase, if they don't know you, they can't flow you, right? Cash flow. They're not going to buy from you. They're not even going to look at you if they don't know you. Now, sure, if you're like Spencer Lee, who's an NCAA champ for Iowa, he won 3 world titles in high school. You don't need us. If your kids are wrestle for Blair Academy and they're at a professionally trained rich kid school and they get to wrestle Beast of the East and all these big tournaments that are famous, and Flow Wrestling's putting it on and videoing or streaming all the matches, and your kid beats a 3-time Minnesota State champion at some big tournament who just signed for the University of Minnesota, guess what? You're okay. You go to, junior nationals and you win that or place really high. You place 2 times at Super 32s. You probably don't need us. But what about this? It was a statistic the NHSCA put out years ago. Out of all the top 10 ranked high school wrestlers in America, 90% of them were not All-Americans in college. 90% failure rate. Only 10% were. And so you say, well, who were the All-Americans? Well, 60% of the All-Americans in Division I wrestling were not even ranked top 25. Many of them were ranked, like Gabe Dean, 2-time NCAA champion. He was ranked 278, I think. Storr, S-T-O-R-R, that's his last name. I think maybe Logan. 2-time NCAA runner-up. I think he was ranked like 196 or something. So how do these guys get noticed? Well, there's probably a little bit of luck involved. maybe they went to a big tournament and had some good matches with some good guys, and very aggressive college coaches were digging and looking because these guys are desperate. They need you. Just like a bank, they need you to borrow money. You need them. So don't feel like it's a one-way street. These college coaches are desperate. They're calling me. They're like, dude, Kerry Cole called about 2 months ago. I need a 25-pounder who's a senior right now who can be here, on my campus in August. And he's got to be able to make 125 at least for a year, preferably 2. I didn't have anybody. But, these guys are desperate because, their kids are growing. Some kids don't make it. Who knows what happens. So they need you too. See, they're coming to us. They're like, hey, this is the place to go to find kids, right? We have 1,018 wrestlers coming to our camp just this summer. And plus, a few thousand that we get to know with our traveling private team camps that we do. And we have wrestlers here that we've never met personally, but who use our program. We get to know them. We're on the phone with them, constantly communicating with them. And we're just sharing that, hey, this is what we got. This is what we got. And we send private correspondence to the coaches that, hey, I'm just letting you know that, Lindenwood University is really hot on, Jaden McClure right now. I know you guys were after him too. I'm just letting you know. And so we kind of like help with the, it's called the best buyer's marketing strategy, right? When I know that someone else is after a kid, then my interest level spikes because I realize that, hey, if I'm real serious about this kid, I can't beat around the bush. So, we're helping behind the scenes too quite a bit. But like I said, 60% of the Division I All-Americans were not ranked above in the top 25, and many of those weren't even ranked top 100. So if your kids probably are in that group, right? They're probably not winning Virginia Beach. They probably don't have the phone ringing off the hook, but they could do it. So many kids just fall through the cracks. Why? There's a lot of those kids. There's not very many world champion Spencer Lees in high school. There's not very many junior national champions. There's not very many kids who place at Virginia Beach 3 years in a row, or who get to wrestle in the big famous high school tournaments. Most of us are in here. There's a lot of competition down here in sort of the unknown category. Unknown, but could do it. Not all at Penn State. You might be a Division II wrestler. That's cool too, right? And you might even get recruited Division I, but they're only going to offer you 10%. So you say, well, I'm going to go Division II, and I'm going to get 60% of my school paid for. Beautiful. All right? So sometimes it's not about D1, D2. I don't think it's a big deal. If you get a chance to compete in college, I think it's pretty amazing. You're probably, top 200, 250 wrestlers in America. If you get a chance to compete in college, you should be very proud of yourself no matter where you get to go. So, understand this. Well, since 2019, just in 2.5 years, we've had 39 wrestlers sign, and that's Division I wrestling. And we've had many who have gone on to earn scholarships and are now, living the dream of being a college athlete. Last thing I'll say, you don't have a lot of time. When you're a college athlete, when you're a high school athlete and you want to wrestle in college or do any sport in college, you're 18 and a half, it's over. It's done. You can get your high school diploma when you're 80 years old. You can lose weight and start a business when you're 54. You can't become a college athlete when you're 18 and a half. Some of us even 18. So they're signing letters of intent now. Many sophomores are. We have one, Noah Certain, signed his letter of intent at Mizzou when he was a sophomore. That means this is where I'm going, hands off. Then, the colleges can't even contact your kids until June 15th after their sophomore year. But if we contact them on your behalf as a freshman or even an 8th grader, certainly freshman and sophomore, and I'm like, hey, Central Michigan, this kid, he placed in state this year as a freshman. There's 4 divisions there. He's the second to the highest class. He went to Virginia Beach. He didn't place, but he had a 2-point match with the kid from Ohio who's going to Ohio University. And we know he was a hot recruit. You might want to look at this kid. He's right in your state. And now that coach is like, whoa, I didn't even realize. I didn't pay much attention to the lower classes in Michigan. And I knew I didn't have very many kids from our area that placed in Virginia Beach. But he did that good against that really good kid. Hey, give me his number. Give me his info. So we're like, well, he's only a freshman. I'm going to have him contact you. So you, as the parent, contact the coach. Now the coach and you can communicate back and forth. But the coach can't contact you first until right before your junior year. So that's a big benefit that we have as well. Plus, I'm 52 years old. I know all these college coaches. Hell, I grew up with most of them. Sean Bourmet, Tom Ryan. I've known all these guys since I was a little kid. Half of them were college teammates of mine. So, when they say, hey, this kid came to Purler camp for 14 days or for however many days, I know him, I like him, I trust him. He has the athleticism to compete at your level. What does he weigh? 141, but he's 5'9.5", and he wears a size 12.5 shoe, and dad's 6'4", and he's a sophomore. Okay, we're not looking at a 49-pounder here or even a 57. No, this is going to be a big dude. We communicate with that kind of things as well. And the coach is like, dude, there's no way I'm not going to have any money for that kid. So I tell them, I'm like, hey, they're not going to have it. So now you know who can't recruit you if they wanted. They only have 9.9 scholarships to divvy up. That they need middleweights or lower middleweights or upper lightweights, you could say. It's good to know, right? You're not going to get that when you spend $4,000 to put your name on a website. And the college coaches, they can't scroll names. They just don't care. They need more. And that's what we do, is kind of like the nurturing along a relationship and open up some lines of communication, putting the buyer and seller together. No different than a broker, right? That's really what we do. We're just marketing. We're marketing and communicating and hustling and just getting it done, all right? So proof's in the pudding, we can do it for you. Now, if you're watching this, that's because your kids are at our camp and you have a special invite. This is Trevor's. I've helped him. He helps me tremendously. I do help with this, but more behind the scenes. Trevor does all the heavy lifting, spends a lot of hours a week, puts a lot of late night. He'll be chatting with coaches on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock at night. He'll drop everything. So, this is sort of like his program that he and I have rebuilt for him so he can really do it right. I'm busy with my other stuff, okay? But I just felt like this is a necessary program. And since I started in 2002 and just had to drop it, now it's 10 times better. So I'm still actively involved. But, Trevor's given a huge, massive discount for all of our campers. And like I said, if you at least get a chance to walk on and have some options of where to go, you're going to get your money back, right? So it's a complete investment. It's really, unless your kids decide not to wrestle, that's the only time it's going to cost you anything. But click all the links. If you have any questions, call, text, email. We'll answer any of those that you could possibly have. But we definitely wanted to share this video with you so you can kind of get an idea of the inner workings of how all of this works, and all of the other detailed information within the body of the email that you have before you. Click through that, check it all out, and I'm sure all the sign-up links and everything that you need are there. And then we will pull your kids in while they're at our camp. We're killing 2 birds with 1 stone here, getting to know them, making interviews with them, videotaping them drilling, wrestling live, helping build their profile, and just kind of establishing that relationship between us and your wrestler too, so that over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, we can sort of watch them grow and take off. Charlie Armstrong, he just texted Trevor the other day. He's like, dude, my phone's freaking exploding. Thank you guys so much. He came for 28 days, then he came for 14 days, just got involved with the program. We're sending personal emails about him specifically. Florida State medalist. He's actually got a 4.2 something GPA. He's wicked smart. Didn't start wrestling when he was 5. First generation wrestler. Just really got hardcore about the past 3 years. They go really deep with Purler wrestling. The athleticism of this kid is also very good. But he's not going to wrestle at Penn State. And he's probably not even going. He might not even go Division I. But he can probably get most of his school paid for at a smaller Division I school or Division II. And his phone's blowing up. He's got a lot of options. So he's very excited. And, so that's what we can do, especially if you're here on campus with us. And that's why you're watching this video. And that's why Trevor has reached out to you. So check it all out. If we can help in any way, we certainly would love to. Thank you.